everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to Virtual Vegfest Live, and I am Helene, and I'm your host. And let's say thank you to Shroom Meats for sponsoring our May Virtual Vegfest Live. It's pretty awesome, one of our newer sponsors. And as you know, you can go to virtualvegfest.com and click on the contest tab, and you can enter to win one of 6 prize packs that are graciously and generously donated monthly from Orgain, Follow Your Heart, Hodo Foods, Crofters Organics, Cinnaholic, and Shroom Meats. And we really appreciate their support. And we just sent out to all our prize winners from April. One who didn't respond though, which is weird, but the ones that respond get their prizes. And then thankfully those companies just ship them right for us, so we just get to pick winners. And you do things like subscribe to our Virtual Vegfest YouTube, or you go and like Greenville Fun Fest on Instagram. You get points for these. You get entries for these. And that way, 25 for subscribing to our YouTube. 25 entries to win one of those prize packs. And you can do this monthly because we keep changing it up as to what you can do to get entered. So don't think because you didn't win in April that you can't enter in May. And we're halfway through the month. So do that. Of course, if we have any questions or comments during our talks, you're always welcome to put them in a little box, and we'll definitely address them. Sally Lipsky is with us today. So she is an author. We have her book. Look, the book right here, Beyond Cancer. So we're going to have a conversation about plant-based eating, this book, being diagnosed with cancer. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. And of course, she's in Pittsburgh, and she's a founder, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. But I like for them to say who and what they are and what they do. So let's go and say hi to Sally. Hi.
Hello, Helene. It's
Well,
great talking to you.
Well, welcome. I'm really glad that you're here. And I want people to hear your story because we've met before, and it was during that conversation I was like, you need to come on to Virtual Vegfest Live and share this with everybody else. And I look forward to hearing it again. So I'm going to throw this to you, and let's start us off.
Okay. Well, I like to start with 2007 is when my world took a shocking turn. This was a month after a good, clean bill of health from my gynecologist, my annual exam. A month later, I was diagnosed with late stage ovarian cancer. So, and I thought I was your typical healthy middle-aged female. I exercised regularly. I did my health checkups, and I ate healthy. I thought, lots of dairy for calcium, low fat, lean meats and fish. And lo and behold, here I am. And if anybody's familiar or not with ovarian cancer, it's most often diagnosed at a late stage because it's just the silence of it. You don't know what you're having until these little symptoms creep up. So with that news, I had surgery immediately. Fortunately, I really had a good surgeon and hospital to go to. And then I started the rounds of chemotherapy. The other thing about ovarian cancer is that it tends to reoccur, and usually within 24 months because it is resistant to chemotherapy. So even in 2008, when I was declared no evidence of disease, I was officially in remission, I was still waiting for that return. I kept on thinking every twitch, my anxiety really, before blood work or a scan, doctor's appointment, I would be a nervous wreck. So it just so happened, for me, I was very lucky to just happen upon this article in our local paper about David Sherburne Schreiber, who wrote Anti-Cancer, New Way of Life. He was a researcher and physician at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, and he came out with this book after being diagnosed and with, surprising to him, some brain cancer. And it really, reading that book was sort of my, whoa, aha moment, the link between food and health. And it's now to me, it seems very strange because it's like second nature to me. But growing up with the standard American diet, growing up with what you're getting from your healthcare providers and popular media, it was never, I never thought of the fact that what I'm consuming can really create the conditions for cancer in my case and overall chronic disease. It just, so from there, I was like, oh, I have to read more. I have to go to conferences. And it just spiraled from that point because at that time I was a professor of education. So I want to read. I want to find the research. I want to learn more and more and more. So that has really got me into this whole journey of plant-based eating, and boy, never look back, I have to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you're still alive.
Yes, that's very important to know. Yes.
Right? I mean, because
Yeah. I have not
2007.
had a recurrence of cancer. And you know, what can I say? I do think the eating has had a lot. When you read about how it does change the environment within your body and how it does fight, prevent cancers and other chronic diseases, it is amazing. Yes. And other lifestyle changes. You know, I started doing yoga and started to reevaluate. Of course, you make sort of priorities. I still had two teenage daughters at home at that time. So I was determined to do whatever I could with as much grace and ease as I could.
Yeah, so
Yes.
ooh, I had an echo. It's it's incredible that because in part of what your book says that typically there's a reoccurrence after 5 years. 5 years is the lifespan, right? A lot of people actually end up dying.
Well, actually, there's a recurrence within 2 years,
Two, right?
usually within 24 months. Yes, the 5 year survival rate is about 39%. It's up a little bit to about 39%. So, um, yes, so it's, what can I say? I feel so fortunate because I remember going to that 5 year checkup, and then they start taking your checkup becomes like once a year or something. And it's
Right.
like, that team, those physicians and healthcare providers are your lifeline. And I remember them. I said, now what? And they said, go live your life. You know. So that was amazing. But you still have what they just did is when I started to learn and to put into practice this whole idea of plant-based eating, it gave me a sense of empowerment and control. It gave me a sense of, oh, I have some control over the course of this disease as well as other diseases. And then I had this sense of, I have to tell other people. I mean, how can I not tell other people? And being an educator, I want to tell it in such a way that is simple enough to digest and to apply, because I felt very strongly I had to dig for this information. It wasn't coming from my healthcare providers or from media. I really had to dig for it. And I felt that other cancer patient survivors shouldn't have to dig for it. Other, you know, it is that just, I feel an obligation to get the message out there. Yeah. And which is what really spurred me on to the book, writing the book, to make it accessible to anyone and everyone and make it doable.
Yeah, because that talking about eating dairy, right?
Yes.
I have a family member that went and found a dietitian that was like, yeah, go like eat lots of dairy, lots of yogurt. That's really healthy for you. Probiotics,
Yes.
yes, probiotics are healthy for you, but eat them not in the insidious dairy, which is horrible for you. And of course, like the same family member had cancer,
Yes.
and like the meal when they got home was like chicken and dumpling cream soup, grilled cheese, dairy yogurt, some fruit, you know, and you're like, cancer, 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 cancer.
I know.
like
I
watching this
know.
going,
Dairy was the shocker to me. It really was because um, that protein in dairy is so insidious. It really is a cancer promoter, casein. And so when people ask me where do I start, I always say start with the dairy. Go to plant-based alternatives with the dairy because, as we know, it can be addictive.
oh, it
All
is.
that
Yeah.
cheese, it's addictive.
Yep.
Yes, it can be, but it makes such a world of difference. Yeah, and if you look at it, all this push towards calcium, as it turns out, dairy isn't even the best source of calcium. It is the plant foods that are absorbed better because it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. And it is those plant foods that actually are the boost in calcium. Yes.
Right. So too much calcium is also not good for your bones. You can look that up. Just do a
Exactly.
little Google on
Excess
that.
calcium is
Yeah.
not good. And we know that osteoporosis is it's a lifestyle disease or condition. Yes.
Oh yeah. It's
So
and a big part of your book. One that the forward is by Nelson Campbell,
I know.
which is
Yes. I'm just
love
so
him.
admire him and the
I
work he's
know.
doing.
Yeah.
I mean, when he said he'd write it, it was, yeah, it
Yeah,
made my day.
that's
Yeah.
that makes your day. It probably makes your
Yeah.
year.
It made my, yeah,
Right? It's like
made my
it's like,
book.
oh, Nelson.
He's just such an uh, outstanding person,
It's like
his
you
whole
just want to,
family.
he's such a doll.
Yes,
Right?
he is.
It's like an
Very
old
museum.
term like knowledge that people like what? But that I think
Mhm.
I feel like that like really fits. He's just a great human.
Okay. Helene, I'm going to say, because we're both Jewish, I'm going to say a Yiddish term,
Okay.
okay, which I know Nelson Campbell was not Jewish, but he's such a mensch.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really a man of character. That
Yes, yes. So, and there we go. So that's Plant Pure Nation, everyone.
Plant
Plant
Pure
Pure Nation, the
Nation and
movie.
Plant Pure Communities,
Yep.
which I'm an active part in. Yes,
Yeah, check that out
because
if
I
you don't
have
know.
to say, he knows it's not just it is a support that really drives how involved and how the sustainable plant-based eating is to your average person.
Right,
Yeah,
and
so
if you don't
that's key.
know, Nelson's dad is Dr. T. Colin Campbell. Just in
Yeah,
case you don't know that,
he's a
probably
legend.
have heard of him if you're watching this. If you haven't, probably want to go look that up. Forks Over Knives, my go-to like movie for people who want to learn more. It's the
Yes,
best. It's all all fact based.
yes,
No horror, no animal torture to make you like shame you or make you feel bad. It's just science and facts. And if you come out of that movie, I say if you come out of that movie and you still eat dairy, you didn't watch the movie. It's because I don't know. You just didn't. You were like eating popcorn. You were like reading a book. You're on your phone. You didn't pay attention to what was going on
it
in that
didn't sink
movie.
in, did it?
Right? Because most
You
people,
weren't paying attention.
if you get through that movie, and it's like a great movie, if you watch it seriously, then everything we're talking about today will just be reinforced. Everything, and that's one thing that I
Yes.
thought was really cute in your book. It said, "Why should we believe you?"
Oh,
I really like
yes,
that.
I've gotten that. And I tell people, I'm not trying to give you the elixir here. I am giving you information. And what I'm offering you is this knowledge and this how to, because I am not making money on the book. The proceeds go to the nonprofits that really support this whole throughout idea of plant-based eating and health. And now climate, which has
Right.
us all, yeah,
Yeah,
so intertwined.
climate. Yeah. Well, I'd like to make
Yeah,
climate more juicy for people to realize that food trumps like everything. It's the gateway drug
it
to
does.
veganism. It's people like cooking demos. It's what they gravitate towards. And thankfully, when you make the decision to eat plant-based or vegan or whatever, just no animals, right? You are actually helping to save the planet with every single meal that you decide that you're going to eat plant-based and or vegan. It as if that it doesn't tend to be like the thing that helps people to go and make those decisions. It's just the, oh, that's just what happens because of this. But I need you to
Yes,
understand that I don't want you to go back when you start eating vegan and plant based because you like crave a hamburger one day, eat a Beyond Burger and move on, or Impossible and move on, or there's so many now that can just keep going, and just let it pass, because you need to study the impact of the environment and this planet being here. You have children that obviously are older now. They're not teenagers anymore. Well, they're close actually. They're not that far. They're still teetering, depending on what teenage where they were when this happened. Because they were if they were 13, then they're not teenagers anymore. So, but even so, they're young adults. They're like adults, and they're probably going to, if they so decide to have children, we want the planet to exist for them
yes,
because we're not
yes.
heading in that
It's a
direction.
natural, whatever reason that you start eating plant-based, whether it is the health of the animals, the health of the planet, or your own health, it's natural that you become more and more aware of the impact. It is, as you said, food transcends all.
Yeah,
It really is.
it sure does, and that's a great thing
And you
because
do it every day. So that's,
yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Mhm.
We fuel ourselves, and that's part of this, is that you want to fuel yourselves in a healthy manner so
Yes.
that your body can work at its top and it not struggling like with heart disease, or thickened blood and strokes, or diabetes, with too much fat again in your arteries, thickened blood, and it leads to these cancer. It leads to these really horrible things that, yeah,
Horrible diseases. So don't wait. Yeah.
yeah.
And also the other thing that, you know, I've become so aware of, it's not just your physical health, it's also cognitive health and emotional health. There is so much research showing that relationship between food and the brain and emotions.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Food,
it's
yeah. Food,
everything.
food definitely, it definitely equates to emotion. It's
Yeah.
amazing, but it's sort of, and memories. So you do talk in the book about why plant-based eating is not, and the myths and, and misconceptions, which I thought was like really cool, because this book is very simple. It is just giving it's like it's spooning, it's spoon feeding the information into somebody in a way that's really easy. And you have, I'm just gonna like throw the question out and then you can just
Yes.
answer it, because I think it's
Okay.
important. I think it's a great way. And then I want to go into like how you changed and what you're eating and to keep cancer at bay, and how it can potentially help somebody else to keep those top things that can kill you
Okay.
at bay. So the
All right.
first one is, the myth is plant-based means a diet of only salads and rabbit food.
That's so common. Everyone is like, but I'm going to be hungry because I can't eat it. And of course, you're going to be hungry. I would be starving. Yes. And that is not, it is those four food groups with the bulk of your calories coming from the complex carbohydrates, the whole grains, the legumes, the starchy vegetables. There is your fuel that's going to send you from meal to meal or snack to snack, wherever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. It's
Those
like
are
it's like
plants
oh,
too.
yeah, only salads are rabbit food. Yes, I eat salad often, but I had falafel and hummus and a stuffed grape leaf, baba ganoush, and that was lunch
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was filling and it was delicious. So then the next myth is plant-based eating consists mainly of raw, not cooked vegetables.
Yes.
That's not true.
Not true. Not true. Yes. We can, cook them. That's so fine. And you'll see, I even mentioned the fact that, and of course, if you go into nutritionfacts.org, Dr. Greger has videos about, but that some foods actually release are more nutritious. Carrots, tomatoes that get those vitamin and minerals out when they are cooked. So yes, I really rely on soups. I love thick soups and stews. So yes,
And they're
that's okay
filling
to cook.
too. Yeah,
Yes,
filling yourself with liquids that are healthy and not high in fat and high in nutrition. One, it
right.
fills you, and two, you get everything you need from it. So,
Yes,
and then you can go back
yes,
and eat more in like 2 hours if you're hungry because
and
it's
yeah,
there.
often will. Yeah,
Right. So the next myth is plant-based eating means plain, bland tasting dishes. Like
I
spices go
know.
on everything. You know what's bland? Meat.
You're right about that. Chicken. Oh my gosh. Just the thought, how bland is it? Yes.
Yep.
Add flavors. And then you taste it because sometimes, like, even when I'm eating lettuce and my extended family members or friends say, "Don't you want the dressing?" I said, "No, but taste this lettuce." It's just, you start, your taste buds become alive. You start distinguishing and realizing the taste of real food.
And that also
Yeah.
comes with using less salt or removing
Yes, it
salt.
does. You're
When you
right.
remove salt, you actually can taste
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
ingredients, the other spices that are being used because salt tends to be like the most dominant.
Yes.
And yeah, a little bit of salt can bring out flavor, but it'll also bring out the flavor of all those other spices. And
Yes.
that's what you want to taste. You want to
Yeah.
taste the
Yeah.
ginger and the turmeric and the garlic and the black pepper and the paprika. I use like all these spices, you know.
Basil and all those
Yes,
herbs. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Exactly.
point.
So plant-based eating is only for tree-hugging hippies, not normal society.
Yeah.
I'll hug a tree. I have no problem with that.
I don't either. But yes, it is mainstream. And as my heavens, the last, what, 5 years, you can see more and more and more plant-based options. Your conventional cookbooks, magazines, whatever, are now devoted to it. So yes, it's making its grand debut into mainstream America. It really is.
It's
Yes.
wild.
Maybe not as fast as some of us, but it is absolutely.
Oh, it's way further along than I ever thought it would be. It's like way further along. Do you know what? Follow Your Heart because they're one of the sponsors and they one of the Prize Pack sponsors. They like Rory wrote to me today to say that they're what's it called? It's they now have a gluten free pourable pancake mix. You know how like when
Mm-mm.
like it was like we're saying, you know when we were younger, like you can get the Aunt Jemima pancakes in the box, and you could just pour
The
it, and
biscuit.
it's like
Oh,
this,
no, I see
right.
what you're
Like
saying.
because mixing up flour and water, it's raw. That's tough. But convenience is king, and they've come out with one. And it's actually gluten free as well, and I
Oh,
was like, no
okay.
way. How cool is that? So yeah, that's out. He told me that today, so I can like fairly quickly really tell you what it's called because I forgot. It is called why- sorry, too many emails. It's called Rocket Cakes.
Rocket cakes.
Rocket Cakes. And it's like literally liquid pancake mix that you could just pour and make your pancakes because, we even see that's what's happening. Like it starts out with like vegans are eating like whole foods, and like plant-based and that's where vegan was, right? And now
Yeah.
vegan and that was more whole foods plant-based. Now vegan is literally everything that you could and this is Andy's shirt. Anything you can eat, I can eat vegan. It is literally that. Every convenience food that wasn't vegan is being turned into vegan,
Uh-huh.
right? So like whipped cream is a good
Yes.
example. Whipped cream's been out there for a while. So now they've got
Right.
it's like the vegan actually whipping cream as opposed to the little can thing that is there's so many things. But that doesn't necessarily equate to helping you with fighting cancer. This is just fun foods. So, and then let's see, plant-based, we already did that one. There we go. So, plant-based eating is inexpensive. Oh, sorry. Plant-based eating is expensive, especially since I must buy only organic produce, which is not true.
This one gets me so angry because I just, so many people would tag it as elitist, expensive, and it's just the opposite. You're going back to that peasant food, that bean, rice, and grains, and and the basic vegetables and fruits that are so inexpensive. So I think it's a really big disservice when people try to categorize it as being out of touch and too expensive, because it can be just the opposite.
When it
Yes,
gets
you don't have those
expensive,
big meat deals.
right? It gets expensive if you're eating processed food.
Yes, you're right.
That's
Eating
when it gets
expensive.
expensive.
And you don't have to, organic is great, but you don't have to be organic. Yes, it is. Believe me, that inorganic apple is healthier than that slab of cheese.
Always. Right. If that's the choice, if the
Yeah,
choice is an apple, any type of apple, and eating some omnivorous food, dairy or meat, you're always gonna win with the apple. I choose
absolutely.
organic, but that's my choice.
Yeah.
There's certain
And
foods
it's just
that
not accepted. We have to make it accessible. So I like to say it can be accessible to anybody. It really can. Um, and it can be, I'm into convenience, whatever. Yes, making it work for you. Absolutely.
we definitely touch on that too. And then plant-based eating will take so much work. I'll have to cook from scratch.
Yeah, that was my big hurdles. Like, oh boy, I'm not one. I don't like to cook that much, but it's amazing what you don't have to cook, or you can, the ways that you can cook to make it so easy. You know, it's amazing what you can do with a potato. It
Oh,
really,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, and put on various toppings and get the, so you can, as I mentioned earlier, you can make it at your own level of convenience and doable for what works for you and your household. It
Right.
really
Air
is.
fryer. Air fryers are like, I mean, I get it's a convection oven, and convection ovens have existed for a long time, but it's a mini convection oven, and that mini
Oh,
convection oven cooks faster than a convection oven even does, and it is it is a, it's one of the most used appliances in this house.
really?
The air fryer, yes, and I'm starting to see packages putting how to cook in the air fryer on them, which is
Uh
pretty
huh.
exciting because I kind of make it up. Because there's
Yes.
like a rule 15 degrees less than what's on if we're baking, whatever that is. I just make it up. But there are people who don't like to make things up. They need the rules. So it makes it harder for them. It's okay if you make it up. The worst thing that happens is your food's crispy on the outside and not cooked on the inside. And then you either choose to eat it or you choose to make another meal. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
Right. Okay.
it hasn't
Yeah.
really happened. You just, cook it longer on a lower temp. So
And
that's,
yeah.
yeah, but you don't
Yeah.
have to go
Air
from
fryers.
scratch. Yeah, frozen vegetables.
Oh,
Microwaves, I feel like, are really important, but a stove and a pot with a little bit of water goes a long way to cook vegetables
yeah. Yeah.
from frozen
Yeah.
or
And I
fresh.
do, as you said, I rely heavily on frozen fruits and vegetables.
Me too.
Yes. Get the big bag.
Yeah, especially during the winter.
Oh, yes.
Especially during the winter. Yeah, but even summer, because I don't want to. You know what? You know what's a pain in the ass? Cutting up cauliflower.
Oh, see, that's one of my, I don't mind that one. I mind a lot of things, but cauliflower,
Okay, the little
yes.
pieces. My dogs love cauliflower, so they get those little pieces. It's like it goes all over the place. It drives it's so I mean, it frustrates. It's just, but I mean, I eat it, but I'll cook it. But it's like, oh, what a pain. So let's see. With plant-based eating, I need to be concerned about getting enough protein.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Protein. Thank you
yes.
to everybody who doesn't ask me anymore about protein because I don't get
Where do
asked
you
these questions
get your
anymore. Yeah.
protein?
Uh,
So, as I say in the book, um, you we all know we eat as our reliance on protein is so misguided, especially the animal protein. It's making us very sick at a very high cost. But yeah, so I always say use the counter to that is where do you get your fiber?
yeah.
Because hey, what is it? 97% of adult Americans don't even get the minimal amount of fiber in their daily diet.
Except if you're vegan. The poor people that go 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 from eating meat like all the time to eat like eating vegan and then they can't get off the toilet.
Yeah.
It's
Well, there you gotta, ease your way into it. There
it's
are
I mean
different systems going to take so much. Yes.
yes, it's like because you know what has a lot of fiber? Fruits and vegetables and carbohydrates. It has a lot of
Yes.
fiber. Yeah, and your body is going to go, oh, process, and we're used to that. I'm that's normal for me. But
Right.
for I know a few people that have started eating vegan and that they joke about it with one another about how often are you on the toilet because that's what fiber does. It helps things to flow. And you're eating meat and you're like pooping once every few days. Like that's
Yeah.
normal. That's
Mm.
not normal.
It's hey, we can talk about transit time, so to speak. And yes, yes, meat eaters, their transit time, and then you think, what's being as it's so slowly being digested, what is being absorbed is a lot of those toxins and the antibiotics and hormones that you don't want to be absorbed is what's being absorbed. Yes.
Yeah.
So fiber is huge. They're finding out all this research on the microbiome, and yes, it is huge in health.
Yeah, that's a great counter. I don't get asked that question anymore. So I don't even have like it just I don't get asked these questions. I just
Yeah,
don't.
people know you.
I'm just yeah, so I'll just go watch. Like just if new people may ask questions if they don't know me at all. The protein question doesn't tend to come up anymore though. So I'm so thankful.
Well,
And
I
then
do a lot of teaching, so that I'm very out front here. Look at you only need 36% of your weight in grams of protein, and it's a little bit over a third. And most people, even vegans, get more than the minimal amount. But yes,
I do. I track it and
yeah,
I blow away. And that's without a single one example I give to people that can shock you is you take like a white flour bagel, like a plain bagel, and you put peanut butter on it.
mm-hmm.
That has, I think, 14 grams of protein. 14 grams of protein. You eat 3 of those a day, you've hit your protein like what you need.
Yeah,
And it's and
yeah,
it's white flour. And the peanut butter, as long as it's not the one filled with oil, I mean, yeah, that's good. It's high in fat, but it's just ground up peanuts. That's great. You get some other stuff in there, good fat. But it's not a complex carbohydrate because the white bagel, but it's still 14 grams of protein or 16. It's somewhere
you
in
know,
there,
if you read like who knew broccoli has protein?
right?
And I told people when I teach, teach this workshop on reading labels. I said, well, go to get your pasta box. Even the white pasta has protein in it.
Yep.
It opens your eyes to all how much protein adds up throughout your day.
Yeah, everything has protein. And when we say that, I put a little caveat in that we're not talking about like hard candy. We're not talking about that type. That's not food. That's candy. But food, every food that you consume has protein throughout the whole day. So It's just a matter of how much. And yes, your fruits and veggies do it. Sometimes those leafy greens have more protein than the animal protein that you're eating.
Yeah,
Especially pound for
right.
pound, because a pound of broccoli is a lot of broccoli.
I put that chart from the T. Colin Campbell Center for Nutrition Studies in my book, where it's 500 calories of animal versus 500 calories of plant foods, and it is amazing. If you look at the protein, the fiber, the fat, it is amazing to see this power of the plant foods. It is. It's a very strong message there that you can get this wonderful array of vitamins, minerals, fiber, protein, and without the bads, the cholesterol and
Right.
the fat and everything.
Exactly. So then the last myth is with plant-based eating, I won't be able to eat out at restaurants, attend parties, or go to social events. It's not true.
Now, no, well, except I wrote that before COVID, of course. Yes, no, of course not. As we said, it's becoming more and more mainstream. I have tips in there in the book about how, I suggest that you go about it in restaurants and everything. But yes, you just make it's amazing how it becomes part of it. You want to get to the point where eating plant-based makes you feel so good that you don't want to go off it. It is just a habit. You really own it, and then you will come up with way order side dishes, um, go to Wendy's and get a baked potato and salad, and some. Yes, you bring your own food. You just do it.
Right, right. A potluck? Oh, I'll cook.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. Bring a
cooking.
dish.
I'm gonna
Bring a
pick mine
dish.
first, but I'm gonna cook.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you're gonna
yeah.
finish my
Just
food. You're going to eat it, you're going to finish it, and I might not get any. So,
that's yeah,
and I can't eat your food, but you're gonna really like mine because I
yeah,
can
yeah.
cook.
I know.
So,
Yeah,
yes, it's.
yeah.
I went out to dinner with Josh Lajani and Howard Jacobson, and we went to a Mexican restaurant. And here's one of the little things that I never thought of doing. But, on the table in a Mexican restaurant, they put fried tortilla chips. And we got
Mhm.
guacamole, the fresh guacamole. And Josh and Howard said, "Can we get fresh corn tortillas, please, that have been heated up?" Instead of eating the chips, they ripped apart the corn tortillas, dipped those into the guacamole, and ate those instead. A little lifestyle change that gives you the ability to eat the delicious guacamole, right? Which is a whole food plant
Yeah,
based guacamole. Typically, there's
yes.
no extra added oil in a guacamole. And, a corn tortilla, now we go to no fat or limited fat, because it's literally corn flour. It's like corn flour, lime juice, and water. It's
Right,
literally all
right.
that's in a corn tortilla. And I was like, I paid attention to what was happening. It was actually an after event dinner with our speakers, and I happened to be
Okay.
at the end of the table with them, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
there you go. So maybe I won't eat so many of those fried corn tortilla chips. But that's like brilliant, because
yeah.
it does it give you the crunch? No, but does it give you the satisfaction? Yes.
Absolutely.
And you can eat a lot more.
Yeah,
A
it
lot
fills
more.
you up. That satiation is key. It's so important.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, they pretty much made their meals from sides, and the restaurant had vegan options, but their vegan options were fried. So
Yeah,
they just went and said,
right.
I'll have black beans, I'll have rice, I'll put together this meal, and they were satisfied. And I was like, okay. And then I was going to, and it would have been 2020, go back to the same restaurant. We were going to like create a menu, that would be more aligned and not just be like what's on their menu, which they were more than willing to do, except that, COVID. So that didn't happen.
I remember, I have to say, I was at this weekend program, immersion program years ago and Rip Esselton was talking about how he went to this restaurant, a pizza restaurant, and he told the server, because, when we go out order pizza without cheese, they think we're crazy. And he told the server, no cheese. and just pile on as many vegetables as you can so that you don't get fired. That was sort of a limit. When you think you're going to get when that thing is, you think you're going to get fired, that's enough. Okay.
It still costs less than the cheese.
Yeah, we'll make up for it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, and then now you can the vegan cheese. I just kind of like go, can you do light vegan cheese? Because I don't need like every ounce and space of my pizza dough to be covered in vegan cheese or any cheese. I just don't need it. It's too much. It's too much for me. So just a lightly, like almost like you would do with Parmesan, just kind of like lightly put it on, and then the veggies too. Just put more veggies on. You're right. Like, can you put more broccoli? Like more than a sprinkling of broccoli, please?
Yes.
So that's a great segue into. So, what did you eat, and what do you eat now? Like.
Well, what did I eat? Well, let's forget that, okay? Let's start with what I eat now, because that's okay. I tell people, when you're getting started, you want to find what works with your taste buds and your lifestyle. Okay, so let's start. I have some basics. Oatmeal. I love oatmeal. I buy 50-pound bags of oatmeal at my co-op here. Because I have it a couple times a day. I really do. I always make it the night before for breakfast. I just had some for a snack. Grind it up and get the oatmeal flour. Sometimes you can, if you want to be adventuresome, make the oatmeal milk. But so I use oatmeal a lot. That's one of my daily things. I always put berries in it and, all kinds of some greens, or put a smoothie with greens on top of it. So that's for sure. And the other thing is potatoes. I just love potatoes. Whatever, I can make it in the microwave quickly. I can make it in my convection oven or my air fryer if you wanted to. And just put all kinds of toppings on it. Have a ganoush. You can put in, right now I made a mustard and took some hummus and mustard and lemon juice and made a dress. Yeah, all kinds of things with potatoes. So soups, as I said, stews, whatever I'm making, I'm going to make extra because I want leftovers. I love leftovers, and I love frozen meals that I can take out and put in my microwave. Absolutely. So I try every day to have a mixture because I know the colors mean a lot as regards to that synchrony that can happen when you're eating a multicolor mixture of plant foods and maximize that nutritional value. So, so I like things such as stir fries and soups that you can throw in different colors of plant foods. And greens, I try to have greens in my couple, at least once a day. And a lot of different spices that I love. I love curry. I put curry on everything. Let's see what I put curry in. Wow. I have salsa, jars of salsa. I will put salsa. I'll eat it out of the jar. I love the spiciness of it. I have these corn tortillas that aren't baked, that aren't fried. Just like, with salsa. Put salsa in soup. Put salsa, on potatoes. So, is that generally answer? And I always have. I'll tell you, Helene. My thing is, I always have food available. It is because when I get hungry, I want food. I want to regulate my blood sugar there. And I don't travel without food. I don't always have food in my purse. I have food in right here. Okay. I'm sitting here in my office. I have some salt-free pretzels and I have some Lundberg multigrain snack crackers. Okay. And so Yeah, I also have a little cough drop. What else do I have? I usually have some chocolate around here somewhere, but I don't see it. Okay. So I have food. Yeah, I surround myself with food, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I do. I actually don't typically bring the food upstairs. Like I will go to the kitchen, then I have to go down the stairs and back up the stairs. So it's it's the mental gymnastics of not necessarily having it where I can just be eating, and but I have to go get it, and then I've become a fan of weighing or like understanding how much something is with more portion sizes as opposed to
Oh,
what American portion sizes are. So
yes,
which is very different. Like for a lot of people, a portion size of ice cream is a pint.
that's true.
Like a portion size of
That's
ice cream
true.
for me might be a spoonful.
Yeah, right.
So
Right.
there's
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. A taste of something can go a long way.
it
Yeah, like
really
we have
yeah.
this mango, it's a vegan coconut milk mango sorbet that a local company makes. It's delicious, but you're right. One teaspoon. One, I have that 72% dark chocolate from Trader Joe's I just adored. And I have a glass jar with little pieces in, and I can, you know, plop it in and enjoy. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, it really helps. And sometimes I want to eat half the chocolate bar, but like like last night was I Panda Chocolates. Panda
Oh,
Chocolates,
yeah.
man, is
Yeah, that's good.
they're an Israeli company. They're it's
Really?
amazing. Yes, they've created a like a vegan milk chocolate and like they have all different flavors. They have a white chocolate. So I decided to try it last night and
Yes.
I looked at the serving size. Serving size was six of the little squares. And it's four servings to the whole bar. And it's a big bar. It's a decent sized bar. It's not one of the tiny one like not like a Who chocolate bar, which is tiny. It's a decent sized
Mhm.
bar, and it might be the best white chocolate I've ever had.
Really.
Yeah,
I'm a dark chocolate fan. I have 85% dark chocolate
it's really dark.
bar down there. I
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
that's like
guess something over 70% is what I look for.
that, and it's healthy for you. Is it not the
Yes,
whole
there's all
bar?
those antioxidants. I
Right.
know. Oh, I
Like
had some cocoa powder I put on my for my afternoon snack on my oatmeal. Sprinkled it on with some of the berries.
so in your
And
oatmeal, you're cooking the oatmeal with water and just putting the berries in. Are you putting any sweetener?
no, I don't.
No.
Sometimes I put a banana in. Like for
Okay.
breakfast today, I put because I use bananas a lot for sweetening. So I put a banana in that sweetens it up
Yeah.
naturally, and then put berries on it and put some. Actually, I had some arugula left over that I just put little slants for arugula on. I always combine hot and cold too.
Oh, that's
Works for
okay.
me.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, oatmeal is, it's filling, it's nutritious,
It
it's,
has that sweetness to it. It's just yes.
and one thing I really want to touch on for people to understand that you're, oh, hey, Nija, nice to see you. Nice that she's here. Is the, is it, this is a SOS, more a way of type of eating. No soil,
Yes,
no
yes.
salt, no oil, no sugar. Because
Well, okay. So
ish.
it's a whole food plant based, which means minimal amount of salt, oil, fats, low fat, and sugar. So it doesn't mean no. Yeah. Unless, I don't have heart disease or some other reason that would really want to restrict um, my fats and oils. But yes, I don't cook with oils. I don't add salt to things, but like the salsa, the jarred salsa has salt in it. I
It
know.
does. It's a high sodium food, but that's okay because if you added
Yes,
salt to that salsa, I would say what?
yeah,
Then
right.
you have an issue with your taste buds. You need to pull back. You need to just you need to remove that salt for a little while from your house if you need to
Yes,
put salt
right.
into salsa because it's high salt food, high sodium filled food. Yeah, and it's important. The cooking with limited oil or no oil, water, the water sautéing it's easy to do. It's like really easy to do. And
Yes.
you just need to have. I taught my housemate who moved out in December, but Dave, I showed him how to do that because he was putting like a teaspoon of oil into what he was cooking, and I was like, "Let me show you how to water saute." And he was like, "Okay." I said, "You can use I can say I use a little bit of vegetable broth sometimes, vegetable
Mm-hmm.
stock, and I'll mix that in with the water, and then there's sodium in that, but I'll have that as my base. But I always keep I was like, here's the secret. Just keep some water next to you while you're cooking. And when it starts to stick, put a little bit more in. And just keep moving it around. It starts to stick, put a little bit more in. Just keep moving it around. And you have deliciousness. And he like left here doing that.
And you don't have all that oil, it masks the taste, as we said earlier about the salt. Now you has a different taste. It starts, those various onions, garlic, whatever it is that you're sauteing.
Yeah, and we bought the Kitchen Craft cookware is one of our vendors. And you're like, I have vendors that like sell a lot of things, and for years I've been seeing them. And it just so happens that this was the time where I was like, let me like really look at this. And I was like, okay, this is like cookware that I'm going to like give to like my nephews, and my nephews will be able to like give to their kids because it's going to last that long. But it's waterless cooking, and that's what's unique about it. Is like it's
Really?
American made. It's made of steel, whatever it's made out of. But you basically take your vegetables and you put them into a pot that's the right size for what you're doing, like a whole head of broccoli, a whole head of cauliflower, onions and fresh garlic. I'll put in there, maybe cabbage, whatever I had, potato. I just put it in, and you if whatever you clean the veggies, so whatever excess water's on them is all you need. And then you put the lid on and you put it on it's not a high heat because it doesn't need it. And then you wait till the lid floats around, so it creates a
Okay.
seal. And you take it off the heat and you let it cook for like 15 minutes, depending on the vegetables. I put eggplant in there. It's the best tasting vegetables I've ever had. Like
Wow.
it's unbelievable. And each time I do it, I'm like, these taste so good.
So you say kitchen craft, right?
Kitchen
Kitchen
craft,
craft?
yep.
Is it on the website on your uh
It's like it's one of our vendors. So it's like if you look up
okay.
kitchen craft, it's probably somebody local. I would almost guarantee there should be a kitchen craft person that's at one of your veg fests in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can ask Amy. I'd be surprised if she didn't have one, but I mean, I can hook
Mhm.
you up with them. I, it's incredible cookware. Like we use it all the
Wow.
time now. It's just, and it's not like, and you cook pasta the same way. But one of the things, if you didn't want to use the electricity, you could cook the pasta, bring it to a boil, put the lid on, and you can do this with pasta no matter what. But these pots are made to retain the heat, and you can take it off the heat and just let it cook that way. So
I'm going to write that down. I have to remember that because we're doing plant-based Pittsburgh. We're filming a series of kitchen videos for with our theme nutrition for families. We're going to do in one of our board members' kitchen, like um, tacos, common theme ones. But that would be good to know to what kind of cookware would be good for that filming, and we can okay
yeah,
look into that.
it's pretty awesome. So this was
Okay.
well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge. It's really good for people who are like just dipping their toes into whole food plant based. People who are vegan who want to go more in the direction of whole food plant based. Leaning away from the processed foods. Someone gets diagnosed with cancer, heart disease, diabetes, strokes. Those the big ones that you want to just do a better job taking care of your body, your health. Your book really can help anybody. Even though it says beyond cancer,
Yeah.
it's really like beyond meat eating.
That's right. Yeah, because it is how to, yeah. Thank you for saying that. So it's very heartwarming when I hear or I see the reviews on Amazon or something where people are saying this is a book that anybody could use. Yes, it's so
Yeah.
it's very consumable.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's like like Nelson said, it's written really well. I didn't really look at at the recipes all that much, but I mean, just skimming kind of through, and they're really easy.
It's easy.
It's
Mhm.
everyday ingredients. There's nothing in here that's really that someone may or may not have in their house, and if you don't, you can easily move into another one.
Yes, nothing
And
exotic.
no,
Nothing.
not at all. Easy pineapple rice. So that sounds good. Okay, sorry. Okay, good. It's always this time where it's like I get influenced of what's going to be for dinner, even though we just ate lunch. But thank you so much, Sally, for being a part
It's
of
been a
this
pleasure.
and joining
Yeah.
me and having people get to know you and your book. And so, if anyone wants to buy your book or reach out to you, how would they do that?
Well, the paperback and the Kindle edition are on Amazon. And you can reach me if you go to plantbasedpittsburgh.com. You can also find lots of recipes if you're interested in, sign up for the newsletter or whatever. But there's also way to, they have a contact button. Just contact me. I am here if people want to ask questions, if they want me to do, a video with their group, whatever. I'm here to educate and inform.
That's fantastic. And it's important because everybody kind of needs that and wherever like where you were and you that article, you just
Yeah,
never know if this is that catalyst, if this is that piece that person needs at that moment in time, or it's someone that they love that needs this piece at that moment in time. Because those moments in time are different for every single person.
right. Yes, it is everybody. It's a crisis, and everyone approaches it. You don't know, yeah, from different ways. But yeah, that's a good point, also.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I need to get to Pittsburgh. It's a city I have not been to.
Oh, yes. I
I
can't wait till you come.
I
Take you to
really
some good vegan restaurants, okay?
and there's vegan ice cream. I know there's like a vegan ice cream shop, and yeah, I'm aware there's stuff in Pittsburgh. I guess it just has to be when I'd like to come for like when the Veg Fest is going on.
Yeah, Vegfest. Yeah,
That way I
yeah.
can.
Amy, next time Amy has it, yeah.
Oh, definitely. And as long as I don't have one, I'm
Okay.
almost at once a month. So, I mean, yeah. So it makes it harder to travel to others, but I do try to get to other Veg Fests and help if I can because I love helping. So,
Okay. Yeah.
well, have a
Well, we'll welcome you.
thank you. Well, have a great rest of your day, and I really appreciate your being here.
Thank you. It's a
Okay,
pleasure.
bye. Well, thank you for joining us on this Thursday version of Virtual Veg Fest Live. And guess what? We're back tomorrow, which is Friday, because Jill Steinbach from Shape Up Us is going to join me at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we're going to talk about the Shape Up Summit that's happening next week, Monday the 17th to the 23rd of May. 7 days of speakers specifically focus on raising a healthy family and raising healthy children. So many topics that we will definitely touch on tomorrow that there's at least one that'll pique your interest. And it's a fundraiser for Shape Up Us. Let's raise some money to like help raise healthy children. How important is that? It's incredibly important because I fully support that. And I'm one of your hosts as well. And then on Saturday, the Cranky Vegan is here, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Yay. That's going to be talking about conversation. I'm really looking forward to that one. So remember to wear your mask. Yes, we still wear masks. We still wear masks because there's still a virus. So even though I'm vaccinated, because we support vaccinations here at Virtual Veg Fest, Triangle Veg Fest, incredibly important so we can get back to somewhat of a new normal life. Because masks, as far as we're concerned, they're here to stay because I don't want the flu and I don't want your cold and I don't want your germs and those viruses that are out there anyway. So I think we should just kind of like make this normal and continue to wear masks. And of course, cover your nose because your nose is connected to your lungs. This makes this useless. So please do that. And at the same time, please be kind. And remember to subscribe to Virtual Veg Fest on YouTube and enter our contest because we want you to win. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 2:15. Bye.